Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday message for March 17th of 2023. Today's title is Moving from Working to Surrender. So here we are, the fifth Sunday in Lent. And I asked you on the first Sunday to, as Georgiana Tree West wrote, during the time of Lent, then, we must learn to fast from all unworthy thought and feast on the good and the true, to observe Lent according to the spirit rather than the letter. We must fast from criticism and condemnation and feast on brotherly love, fast from false beliefs in sickness and weakness, and feast on the truth of God's omnipresent, perfect life, fast from false beliefs in lack and limitation, and feast on the truth of God's bountiful goodwill. So my question is, how are you doing with that? And now this is not about being perfect or judging yourself if you haven't been perfect. It's about being aware. Edgar Cayce once wrote, and I am paraphrasing his statement, the moment one realizes their error and changes their thought and action, all karma in this life is dissolved. So that thought alone should help you on this beautiful spiritual path that you're on. We are in these human bodies to learn, not to already know it all. We're here to learn just as a baby is learning to walk and keeps falling down. They just keep on keeping on until they get it. Nobody holds them responsible for their falling down. They rejoice in the walking. So all your guides and angels keep encouraging you over and over until you get it, that only love exists. And they rejoice in your getting that. They don't worry about the other stuff. They just keep encouraging you. So as a baby takes time to learn to walk better and better, so we are also having to get it that it takes time to change our thoughts and actions from, as was said, all unworthy thoughts of the good to the good and the true, to move from criticism and condemnation to thoughts of brotherly love, from false beliefs in sickness and weakness to thoughts on the truth of God's omnipresent, perfect life, from the false beliefs in lack and limitation to thoughts on the truth of God's bountiful goodwill. So, during this time of Lent, we have been working on this, watching our thoughts, moving from judgment to loving, seeing ourselves in a different light. And maybe we have even been stopping what we're doing and taking ourselves into account for what we were doing and how we were doing it. And this is where surrender comes in. We can't do everything on our own. We need help. Here in the physical world, we certainly can't do everything and we need help. So in our spiritual path, we need help also. However, the word surrender can be a trigger word for a lot of people. For some, when the word surrender is mentioned, they many times think of submitting, yielding, giving in, or giving up to someone or something. To them, this is a negative connotation of the word. But when we are speaking of surrendering to the Christ within us, we can use those same words and they become something very positive. However, before we can fully surrender to that God or the Christ within, we actually have to go back and look at what we are surrendering to. The following comes from Charles Fillmore's The Revealing Word, and it says this: God, the Almighty One, the Creator, the ruler of the universe, the infinite, the eternal. God is not person, but God is principle. the underlying unchangeable truth, absolute good expressed in all creation. God is this great goodness, omnipresent, present everywhere, omniscient, all knowing, and omnipotent, all powerful. God is personal to us when we recognize God as our indwelling life, intelligent, love, power, prosperity, health, peace, and all of that. So when we identify with God as our indwelling creator source, that makes it personal to us. However, it's not in a personal sense, but in the universal identification of ourselves with God that we come into the God consciousness. The personal is limited. The universal or God consciousness is unlimited. God is that from which all love comes forth. So when we begin to take in that this is what we are surrendering to, we're more apt to allow that part of us that wants to do things our way to just let go and let God direct. And of course, one of the first ways to do this, and I have shared this with you before, is to begin to walk around as divinity, be divinity itself throughout your day. As you wake up in the morning, I am the divine in this body waking up to this day. I am the divine taking a shower. I'm the divine working out. I am the divine eating breakfast. I am the divine talking on the phone. I'm the divine doing, you fill it. Whatever you're doing during the day, you can say, I am the divine that is doing this or thinking this. And when we begin to do that each and every day, and as often during the day as possible, we begin to move out of our limited lower self into the consciousness of God itself. And the more often we can identify as the divine throughout the day, the more we are automatically moving into the consciousness of and as the Christ. Of course, the more we are in the consciousness of being of and as the Christ, the more we have surrendered our own personal will to the will of God, which is to have all the good of God come to us. And the more we have moved into the thought of being divinity itself, doing, being, saying, having, whatever, we have automatically done the surrendering. No fuss, no muss, easy peasy. No fight with yourself to do it or not to do it. Because each moment you remember to live as the Christ, you have surrendered everything to the Christ, to divinity itself. And in doing that, you will find that thoughts of the good and the true, thoughts of brotherly love, thoughts of, on the truth of God's omnipresent, perfect life, and thoughts on the truth of God's bountiful goodwill, as was stated earlier, are just there. The thoughts are just there. And we begin to find ourselves not going into fear over the little things that we did before. When something big happens, we find ourselves reminding ourselves that we are the divinity at that very moment. And as the divinity, everything is in perfect divine order. And everything will work out for the good. This is where the greater aspect of surrender comes in. We ourselves, of ourselves, by ourselves, cannot right all wrongs, but the Christ within us, the divinity within us can and will if we allow it to work. We may be guided to do something, but we just don't just go forward and do what we think is the thing to do. We allow ourselves to be guided. And sometimes that means we are guided to do something we don't want to do. And sometimes that means we do nothing when we want to do something, anything. Sometimes we just need to sit as the divine having this or that feeling and feeling ourselves giving it, whatever it is, over to the Christ within us, to source itself. And as we sit doing that, many times a great sense of peace envelops us. And we just know that everything is being taken care of by something bigger and higher than us. So now I would like to take us into time of meditation to give you a little assist in being divinity. So I invite you just to sit back, close your eyes, and relax. Taking a deep breath in, begin to feel your body. And as you let your breath out, allow your body to relax even more. Another beautiful, nice, deep breath in. Feel your body. And as you let that breath out, allow your body to relax even deeper. And now begin to just say to yourself, I am divinity. I am the divine itself. I am divinity sitting in this chair. I am the divine breathing. I am the divine listening to these words. I am divinity itself, feeling the clothes I am wearing. I am the divine, feeling the shoes on my feet. I am the divine, feeling the chair I am sitting on. And now just sit for a moment, feeling yourself as the divinity, as the divine, as all that the divine is. As the divine itself and all that encompasses perfect health, prosperity, love, peace, harmony. All that the divine is, you are right at this very moment. Just sit in that energy. And now taking a deep breath in, just stay as divinity itself as you breathe in and out. You are the divine. You are the divine one that is breathing right at this moment. You are divinity itself. And now taking another beautiful deep breath in, allow yourself to come back fully into this space and time. And as you breathe out, when you're ready, just open your eyes and be back right at this moment in time, feeling the peace of God in you as you. So Welcome to the easiest way of surrender and to your being the divine in action. God bless.